envision awakening consistently with a perfectly clear feeling of direction, not influenced by difficulties, courageous by the turmoil around you, and tenaciously centered around the main thing. It sounds practically godlike, right? However, this was the ordinary reality for perhaps the most influential man in old history, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman sovereign and an unemotional logician. His own notes, an assortment that has endured centuries, aren't only insights of a past time yet are startlingly significant exhortation on the best way to tackle the force of self-control in the midst of the clamor of life. Today we're plunging profound into the core of emotionlessness, investigating its standards not as unique ideas, but rather as viable devices for living a more focused, satisfied life. Emotionlessness shows us how to transform misfortune into advantage, personal strife into serenity, and life's flatiness into a wellspring of solidarity. Whether you're battling with day-to-day stressors, looking for internal harmony, or hoping to raise your efficiency, understanding the unemotional lifestyle offers significant bits of knowledge in a world overflowing with vast interruptions and moment delights. The unemotional way of thinking grounds us in the ideals of shrewdness, boldness, equity, and balance. It's about something beyond persevering through life. It's tied in with flourishing in it, regardless of what comes your direction. In this way, in the event that you're prepared to change how you view and handle life's difficulties, remain tuned as we unload the strong, life-changing lessons of Marcus Aurelius, and how they can be applied to develop a powerful, restrained life today. As we set out on this excursion through a different way of thinking and the significant lessons of Marcus Aurelius, on the off chance that you value what we're doing here, a straightforward free blessing I'll ask from you is to raise a ruckus around town button. Additionally, skirt no piece of the video since, in such a case that you're here, you're unique in relation to the greater part. In this way, see yourself as an exemption and remain tuned for the remarkable experiences we'll investigate together. At the heart of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy is the belief that self-discipline begins with finding your purpose. But what does it really mean to find your purpose? It's about discovering what truly matters to you, what drives you at your core, and aligning your daily actions with that deeper calling. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about living in agreement with nature, which in Stoic terms means understanding your role in the larger scheme of things and acting in harmony with your virtues. For Aurelius, purpose wasn't just a lofty ideal, but a practical compass that guided his every decision, from the mundane to the monumental. He believed that understanding one's purpose is what pushes you out of bed in the morning, ready to face the challenges of the day. It's what keeps you steadfast when temptations beckon you to stray. And it's not about grandiose achievements or external accolades, but about fulfilling the duties that life has laid out for you, performing each task with commitment and integrity. In a modern context, finding your purpose can often feel overwhelming. We live in a world saturated with choices and distractions that can lead us away from our true paths. Here is where Stoic wisdom is not just helpful but essential. Stoicism teaches us to peel back the layers of superficial desires and fleeting emotions to reveal what is truly essential for our well-being and growth. It encourages us to ask ourselves what is truly worth my time and energy. How can my actions today contribute to the greater good and to my personal development? As we explore how to apply this principle in our lives, think about what you are naturally drawn to, where you find deep satisfaction, or what challenges you are motivated to solve. These are clues to your purpose, and once identified, the Stoic practice of daily reflection becomes invaluable. By continuously aligning your actions with your purpose, by saying no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does, you cultivate the self-discipline necessary to live a meaningful and impactful life. Let's take this insight from Marcus Aurelius and apply it daily. Ask yourself each morning, what am I meant to do today? And each evening, have I lived true to my purpose? Over time, this practice will not only build self-discipline, but also transform your life into a more purposeful and fulfilling journey. When Marcus Aurelius wrote about self-discipline, a recurring theme in his reflections was the importance of relying on oneself. Count on yourself is not just about self-reliance, but an integral part of the Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of personal accountability and independence. This isn't about isolation or rejecting assistance from others, rather. It's about recognizing that the ultimate responsibility for our actions, reactions, and personal growth rests within us. In Stoicism, the idea of focusing on what is within our control is paramount. Aurelius often discussed the power of the self in confronting whatever challenges life throws our way. By counting on ourselves, we tap into our inner resilience and strength. This principle teaches us to trust in our abilities to navigate through life's uncertainties and adversities. It's about building confidence, not through arrogance, but through competence and a thorough understanding of one's own capacities and virtues. This self-reliance is liberating but also daunting. In today's interconnected world, where opinions and advice are constantly at our fingertips, learning to listen to our inner voice can be challenging. However, Stoicism teaches us to filter out the noise and to trust in our reasoned judgments. Aurelius believed this internal guidance was the most reliable counsel one could have because it is rooted in reason and virtue. By counting on ourselves, we also develop autonomy in our decision-making processes, enabling us to make choices that are aligned with our values and principles rather than being swayed by external pressures or temporary emotions. This autonomy is crucial for maintaining personal integrity and for living a life that is true to oneself. So how can we start to truly count on ourselves? It begins with small steps, making commitments and keeping them, setting personal goals and working towards them independently, and taking time to reflect on our decisions and their alignments with our core values. Over time, these practices strengthen our self-discipline, making us more resilient and grounded in the face of life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius consistently emphasized the power of persistence, of showing up not just in body but in spirit every single day. This practice is not about monumental efforts unleashed sporadically, but about the quiet, steady dedication to daily tasks which collectively forge a disciplined life. For Aurelius, showing up every day was synonymous with the Stoic idea of living in accordance with nature. To him, nature demanded of us not just to exist, but to actively participate in life, to contribute to the world through our actions, no matter how small or routine they might seem. Each day presented itself as a new arena, not for grand battles, but for proving one's commitment to their principles and duties. It's in the consistency, the everyday effort, where character is built and tested. In today's world, where distractions are many and motivations can be fleeting, the idea of showing up every day gains even more significance. It's easy to feel inspired one day and completely off track the next. Here, Stoicism teaches us the value of consistency. It's not the intensity, but the regularity of our actions that cultivates true discipline. This doesn't mean that every day needs to be a masterpiece of productivity, rather. It's about not letting a day slip by unnoticed or underutilized. Whether it's advancing in our career, improving our health, or deepening our relationships, progress is made one step at a time, one day at a time. The Stoic practice of daily reflection becomes an invaluable tool in this pursuit. Each evening, take a moment to review your day. What did you accomplish? Where did you fall short? What can you do better tomorrow? By embracing this habit of self-assessment, you not only stay accountable to yourself, but also continuously refine your goals and actions, ensuring that each day brings you closer to the disciplined life you aspire to lead. So as you go about your day, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power. Chasing after self-restraint, there's maybe no more prominent foe than stalling. We've all accomplished the impulse to place off significant undertakings for additional prompt joys or interruptions. Nonetheless, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the expense of stalling isn't simply sat around, yet a wasting of our true capacity and our temperances. In the unemotional perspective, tarrying is a type of egocentrism, an acquiescence to the impulses of our longings and fears, as opposed to an immovable obligation to our standards. Aurelius accepted that every second is valuable and ought to be utilized shrewdly, not wasted in inaction or aversion. This doesn't imply that we ought to never rest or enjoy reprieves. Rather, it's tied in with being deliberate with our significant investment, dispensing them in arrangement with our needs and values. So how might we defeat stalling and develop more prominent self-restraint in our lives? One strong methodology is to embrace the unemotional act of keepsake mori, or the examination of our mortality. By considering the transitory idea of life and the certainty of death, we gain point of view on the value of time and the earnestness of our interests. This mindfulness can act as a strong counteractant to hesitation, advising us that every second we delay is a second lost for eternity. Another viable methodology is to separate assignments into more modest, more sensible advances. Dawdling frequently flourishes with the apparent immensity of an undertaking, driving us to stay away from it by and large. By breaking it down into more modest, significant things, we gain ground more feasible, as well as lessen the mental boundaries that add to stalling. Moreover, setting clear cutoff times and making responsibility systems can assist us with remaining focused and conquer the compulsion to dawdle. Whether it's offering our objectives to a companion, utilizing efficiency devices and applications, or essentially setting updates for ourselves, making outside motivators can support our inward inspiration and discipline. At last, developing a development outlook can change our relationship with stalling. Instead of seeing difficulties or deferrals as disappointments, we can see them as any open doors for learning and development. By embracing the cycle, as opposed to focusing on the result, we free ourselves from the apprehension about disappointment and the hair-splitting that frequently underlies hesitation. All in all, while beating stalling requires exertion and mindfulness, the awards of more noteworthy self-restraint are certainly worth the battle. By embracing emotionless standards, pondering our mortality, breaking errands into reasonable advances, making responsibility components, and developing a development mentality, we can conquer lingering and open our maximum capacity. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, burn through no additional time contending what a decent man ought to be.